Hello again, everyone. Ken from Whittling Woods, back again with another whittling wood carving tutorial. Today we're going to do something that's fairly unique. I think you probably saw from the little introduction there. It's an ear of corn. So actually it was my wife's suggestion. I was thinking of something different to carve, and she said we're just about here in the U.S. It's early July, so we just celebrated the 4th of July, and as the farmers say around here, knee-high by the 4th of July, referring to the size of the corn stalk, although they tend to be a little bit bigger than that nowadays. But we have some really good corn around here, so she suggested we do a little corn stalk, so or a little ear of corn, so to speak. So we're going to use this piece of wood here was it's a piece of poplar, poplar dowel. It's 6 inches in length. You can see the whole thing, and we're going to carve it in the about 4 inches. It's going to be about 4 inches with the tassel and the stem and what have you. And the width of this is 7/8. So there you go, 6 inches, just a little extra for holding on to, and we'll carve it in the first 4 inches. We use these two North Bay Forge knives, and I may even just because I know a lot of people have them, I may even bring in this little V gouge. I don't know, we'll see. Sometimes for carving the around the leaves, it might be helpful. We'll maybe bring it in to see so for people who have these V gouges, they can see how you could possibly use it on that besides just a knife. You can actually do it with, you can do this whole thing with one knife actually. So but I like to show it in different ways. So anyway, I'm going to get everything set up, and I will be right back. We'll start whittling this back a little bit. We can kind of define maybe the bottom of it just for reference sake. I'm going to kind of go around here, roll my knife around, just to form an indication of where the bottom is going to be. That's all. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to whittle this down. I just do it to kind of remind myself of where it is. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just going to take it in just a little bit. Alrighty, as soon as I finish that, I'll be right back. Okay, you can see what I did here. I'm just this is going to be the bottom of the ear of corn, where you pull it off the stalk. And also, I didn't mark on here until now. Come down about 1 1/8 of an inch. It really doesn't matter exactly. I just happen to use that measurement. This is going to be the top of the ear, and then the little fronds that come off the end will form. We'll do some creative whittling to form those. These are fun little. This is a great beginner's project. It's kind of fun and unique, and it's not all that hard to do. It just it's an ear of corn, so it's something very organic. So all I'm doing here is the same thing I kind of did on the bottom, just going around the top. Well, we're going to taper this in a little bit more, but it'll, again, just to find some planes. When I do these type of tutorials, I like to make it kind of approach it step by step. So because a lot of people who do watch these are relatively new to the whittling hobby, or they're maybe just looking to get, if you're not new to the hobby and you're just looking for something different to whittle. I'm trying to add a bunch of different things here. I had a very generous viewer of mine on the last, well, actually not the last, but a couple before this video, who generously donated a little bit of money, which was incredibly generous, and they had suggested that it was the little wolf whittle that I had done a couple weeks back. He or she, I'm not, I don't know, had suggested that I had mentioned in the video that it starts off, it kind of looks like a big cat, and that's for their kind generosity, I'm going to do that. I think the next whittle we're going to do a kind of like we did with the wolf and the bear head. We're going to do one of the big cats. I'm thinking, you know, like a mountain lion type style. I think that would be really cool. So, you know, look forward to that. And again, it's an appreciation for the generosity of one of my viewers. Thank you very much once again. This piece here, I don't know if I mentioned it, maybe I did earlier. My good buddy Mark, aka Black Bart, who sent me a box of dowels and of this poplar, some cedar, some walnut, and he also sent me a knife. You've seen me use it. I think I've used it on a number of videos already. This is one of the dowels he sent me, and Mark, again, thank you so much. But there you go. If you want to get to that point, we're moving along here. It won't take too long. Alrighty, so I'll give you kind of a look at where I am. Next thing I do is I just kind of start to taper the top in a bit more. The ear of corn, you know, depending I guess on where you're from, where I live here in the Northeast, the corn is it's one thing we can grow around here that's actually still really good. In fact, it's very, very good. We all look forward to it this time of year. We have a farm stand very close to where we live here, Walt's sweet corn, and man, you've never had corn on the cob until you've had Walt's sweet corn, and they sell other stuff there, but people come from all over just to grab some of his sweet corn. It's really good. If you're a corn on the cob fan, and this time of year, who is it? So anyway, I'm just kind of whittling it down. The shape we're going for, it's kind of, it'll taper down, sort of cone shape to about here, and then taper up, more cone shape, and then we'll form some leaves. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm just kind of going around and tapering it in a bit. That's why I think these are great beginner whittles. They're so easy to do. It's just basically you're forming a cone. So we're going to come to, you know, we'll maybe go about a third of the way up, and we'll put this as the high point right in here, about a third of the way, and then we'll taper this down, and let me show you that way, down towards there, and then this down towards there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go around here and finish the tapering. You don't need to watch me do it. I'm just going around here and, you know, just tapering it down. Not to a point. We're going to leave some. We're going to leave some here because we'll curve this in. And we don't want to weaken it too much. But that's it. Let me finish that up, and when I'm done, I'll be right back. Okay, I thought I'd just jump back in here real fast. When you're tapering this down, the best way to go about it, instead of taking one, you can do one long cut like that, but it might be easier on you if you just kind of start, you know, at the top and, you know, taper it around there, and then you come back further and just taper that. It just makes it a little bit easier on you, and the cuts are smaller, so they're more, you can control them better. You know, it's anything to keep better control of your knife. So I just kind of come around. Like I said, I'll taper the upper part like so. Get rid of some of that excess there. And then you come back a little further, and you can taper it, starting back a little bit. This poplar is great for this kind of whittle, because poplar naturally has a sort of a bit of a greenish hue to it to begin with, and the corn cobs, or excuse me, the ears of corn, or corn cob, whatever, the ears of corn, I'm sorry. They, you know, obviously they're green, so it kind of I don't even think you need to paint it, to be honest with you. You could add a bit of a greenish hue to it, but you know, so there, that's all we're doing here, and like I mentioned. And then once we get it roughly shaped on both sides, we'll start forming a little bit of the stem area over here. I'm going to taper this bottom part in just a little bit more. Okay. Now, like I said, we left this 1 1/8 inch part up top here. We can start taking that back a bit, because we're not going to need all that wood over here. And let's whittle it back now while we have some bulk in here, and we want to do this, whittle this back, that's all. So just come in here and take it back a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of start to take this in as well over here. If you're doing this kind of cut, I've mentioned this in a number of videos where you're cutting towards yourself. Secure, you can see I have my thumb secured on here as I'm pushing. So I'm always securing it. Don't sit there and try to do it like this without securing it. You'll slip and you'll cut yourself. Whenever you're moving the knife in the direction of one of your hand or your finger, whatever the case may be, always try to make sure that you know where it's going and you have control over it. Next thing I want to do is come in here and start swooping this out just a little bit more. We're going to get to a point where we can start forming the individual leaves on the corn here. And then once I get that part done, I think then we'll cut this piece off here and we'll finish the stem. But we're pretty close to that. So again, I'm just going to continue tapering it in a little bit. And it's kind of by feel. Like I said, if you use the 1/3 and 2/3 and then kind of taper it, you can see where I'm at over here. So I'm going to just finish that up and I'll be right back. I got all the tapering done, so you can kind of see how that is for the most part. As we do the leafy area on there, you know, it'll taper a little bit more. But I just drew in some lines. What I try to go for is about 3 separate main leaves, and then they're going to be the ones tucked underneath. So 1, 2, and 3. And all I did was draw slightly curving lines. One goes all the way down to the base and one kind of stops a little bit. So what you're going to want to do, and this is where you could approach it many different ways. If you had a V-gouge, you could come in here with a V-gouge. I just come in here with a knife and follow my lines. I'll take it right down to the base over there. That's all. And then I kind of flip it around and I'll come back and I'll start just removing a little bit of wood to make it look like one leaf is tucking under another. You can kind of see that. Maybe, maybe not. There you go. And then I'll, continue to refine that a little bit. There you go. Kind of like so. And eventually I'm going to have to, obviously, I normally wouldn't draw in with Sharpie like I just did, but I wanted to kind of show you the lines more clearly so you could just see. Normally I use, you can kind of see some of the green, maybe some of the green pencil mark I have in here. Normally that's what I would use. I wouldn't use a Sharpie. Because then you definitely have to make sure you clean up everything. And then I just come back on the other side, I do the same thing. I kind of come over here and I'll start here and I'll work my way around like so. All right. And then just kind of remove that wood. Inside there as well. And just kind of go around and do that. Form your little leaf areas in here. And then we'll kind of come back and we'll, like I said, if you look at an ear of corn, you know what they look like. So that's all we're going for here. We're just going to make little leaves kind of wrapping up to the top here. And now if you wanted to use, if you have a V-gouge and you're so inclined, I typically don't use a lot of V-gouges, but I'll bring it out and kind of show you what that's like. If you want to use that, you could use it for, I guess, doing the initial cut like this, or for cleaning up cuts, whatever you're comfortable with. But if you have that tool and you want to use it, we'll give it a shot. So I'm just going to finish this one up. Grab that V-gouge, and I'll be right back. Okay, we'll give it a shot with the V-gouge here. We'll kind of come in here in our line, and this is going to be slightly overlapping this one. This one here they're going to be slightly overlapping this one, so I want to kind of angle my V-gouge towards the one that's going to be underneath. I'm just going to kind of come in here and do it. And then flip it around and kind of do the same thing. Like that. Essentially you're doing, the same thing you just did with the knife. All right, so we're just forming the leaf fronds. So I'll carve out these other two. I'm going to probably go back to my knife and do these other two. And when I finish that, I'll be right back. Okay, I have just one more left, and I thought I'd just kind of show you again how I do it with the knife. So I kind of come in here, right on that line, and I just follow along carefully on that line. And I'll flip it around, and I'll come back in. Again, this leaf is going to be tucking over top of this part, so I'm going to just go in here and carefully come back around and pull out some of that wood. So that's kind of it. Now, like I said, if you want to take your V-gouge at this point and say, okay, now let's just make it easy, do an easy little cleanup. Come in here with your V-gouge and just clean it up. Now that I'm trying, actually, it makes it pretty nice and easy to do. So there you go. What I do here is I start to come in and I'll take the leaf part that's kind of underneath, and I'll just kind of go back in there and just refine it. Just trying to bring it down so it looks like there's different layers. You can kind of see this one in here tucks underneath both these, so I'm just going to kind of come in here and bring that back just a little bit. Same thing with this side. Okay, just kind of went around here and, just like I said, just refine the leaves a little bit. You have some tucking under, some over top. Go in, the ones that are tucking under, just, reduce those a little bit more. Make the ones on top. Nice thing about this type of whittle is, it's very organic shape, very organic look, so you really can't mess it up. It's one of those whittles that, like I said, it's a great beginner project because it'll get you a lot of experience doing handling the knife, doing different types of cuts, and if you have a gouge like I showed you, you can put that to work as well. What I'm going to do for the top, I think, here is take this back even a little bit more before I'm going to probably cut it off on the bottom first before we do the tassel part on the top, because I think it'll be easier not to destroy the tassels a bit. So I'm going to narrow the upper part, this in here. I want to just bring this in a little bit more. So I'm just going around here and narrowing that down a bit, because when we form the tassels, what we want, we kind of want to make this a bit of a point on the top on both ends, have it come in, because then we're going to kind of cut down and leave that tassel look to it as good as you're going to get in a piece of wood. It looks pretty good, I think, when you do that. People know who have seen ears of corn before what it is, and my wife gave it the thumbs up on my mock-up version, so she's the corn expert. Back a few, one of our properties, she actually had grown some corn. It likes to grow in groups, that's for sure. So there you go. A little bit back a little bit. So what I come here and I start to do now is I start to narrow this down and in preparation for cutting it. We're going to have to reinforce some of those lines that we put in because the leaves kind of tuck down around that stem part of the corn there, but I want to bring this down just a little bit more. I'm kind of doing a bit of a swooping cut. I don't want to bring it to a point. I'm kind of coming in here, and actually it may be a little bit easier with a slightly smaller knife. So I'm going to kind of come in here and do a bit of a, I'll kind of show you if I can. I'm going to come in here and do a bit of a swooping cut. Kind of like so. You kind of see how that goes. And then we'll have very little to cut off over there, but that's kind of what you want to get to. And then we can, once we get it to a decent stem, or, well, I'm sure it's not called the stem, but we'll get it to a point that's looks about right. I'm going to reinforce some of those leaf lines just to make it look a little bit better. Okay, there you are. I cut off the bottom, and I just kind of come back in here, and I'll bring my knife in here and I'll just refine the bottom just a little bit more. You know, make it. You don't want it exactly squared off like a clean knife cut like that. Well, it doesn't really matter. I just kind of wrap it around, make the leaves look like they're wrapping out from that point, because that's kind of how they grow. So that's all we're doing here, just kind of going around and doing that. So it looks like leaves at the bottom. Take some creative license, do what you think looks right. And kind of like so. So it looks like a bit. Now for the top, you can probably narrow this down just a bit more. Kind of tapering the top in a bit. It'll be easier making the tassel on the top of the corn if it's narrowed in a bit. There you go. Now what we can do is we come in here basically, and we start carefully just bringing the edges down so the wood kind of curls a little bit. So we can kind of come about let me get kind of in view here, like around here, and we're gonna kind of just come in here carefully, maybe put a couple cuts in like so. Work our way around like that. If some fall off, literally don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. Some of them will. You're just kind of curving it around like that. And then once you get you know, a row done, kind of move up a little bit. Just take your time. When you get higher up the top, take longer cuts like so they curl in. And ones that fall off, let them fall off, it doesn't matter. So that's all. I'm going to kind of go around. I'll take the smaller knife now, and I will see if I can get this to look like tassels on top of a corn. I'll just work my way up that wood that we have in that we put in here. That's all you're going for. You're just looking. It's literally in a regular look like that. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to. You're not going for anything specific here. Just something that looks a little irregular. Just work your way around slowly and just, you know, carefully do it. Looks irregular. That's all I go for. And when I get to the top part, I just kind of start cutting that down straight. You see? Keep turning the piece around. There you go. And then when you get right to the end, when you don't have much wood left, you're just going to start, you know, some of it will break right off, which is fine too. Or you can, you know, you can pull pieces out if it's too thick. There you go. Kind of looks a bit like a tassel on top of a piece of corn. I think that piece is a little too big up top there, so maybe we'll split it up and see if it holds together. If not, it'll come right out. So if you have a bigger piece that doesn't work, just pull it out. There you go. A little bit of a tassel on the top of a piece of corn over there. And then, you know, you want to save that to the end, because once you do that, you know, you don't want to put a lot of pressure on that. Sometimes I'll come in here at the, you know, and I'll curve up the leaves a little bit, like so, just to kind of finish the look, I think. Kind of like so. That's as straightforward as it comes. They're really not that difficult to do. I think they're an easy, fun beginner project. It's a little more challenging than, say, like like I've done a video on mushrooms and trees and stuff like that. That presents slightly more of a challenge, but not really. It's great to no pun intended, but to hone your whittling skills. But there you go. Clean that off. You got a little bit of a ear of corn for the summer here. And you can or can't, you know, you don't have to if you're using poplar like this. You know, it's kind of got a greenish tint to it already, or you could apply some green paint and call it good. But I'll just finish the cleanup, and I'll give you a look when it's all done. I'll be right back. Well, there you go. The whittle of an ear of corn is all done. I hit it with a wash of green paint, a couple shades of green paint, just to enhance it a little bit more. It's on a poplar dowel that was sent to me by my good buddy Mark, aka Black Bart. 2 thumbs up, Mark. Really much appreciate it. He sent me the wood, a bunch of different types of wood, and a whittling knife that he made. If you're interested, check back. I have a video on that. I've used his knife in a number of videos. The idea for the corn was my wife's. I was trying to think of something to whittle, and here in the U.S. it's Independence Day, or the 4th of July, and corn is a staple during the summertime around here, at least, and I'm sure a lot of areas. So it was an entertaining whittle to do. It's a great beginner's project. It's fun. You really can't mess it up. It's so you know, easy to do. Give it a shot. It was I found it entertaining and fun. Maybe you will too. Next week we're going to be doing a bust of a cat. During the I did a wolf head or wolf bust video a couple back, and one of the viewers who had donated some money to the Whittling Woods channel had suggested a cat. So for them, again, 2 thumbs up. Thank you for the donation. And I'm going to do a big cat, I think, a mountain lion. A bust of a mountain lion would be fun. We'll give that a shot. So if you're interested, stay tuned for that next week. And that's really about it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great whittling week. Talk to you soon. Take care.